Hi, I'm Nathan Dorner from the Nathan and Ben YouTube channel. I'm with my co-partner Benjamin. Uh, we are going to cover on this broadcast the game for the Anaheim Ducks in the Chicago Blackhawks territory, the United Center, right in West Chicago. A big game, you would say. Isn't that right, Benjamin?
Oh yes, and I think that in this game we will be seeing a lot of heavy hitting. We will definitely be seeing both of these teams playing at their full potential. As first of all, Chicago does not want to go down 3-1 against the Anaheim Ducks, and second of all, Anaheim really wants to take a chokehold of the series. They really do want to grab.
Oh, definitely. They want to go to the Cup.
Yes, I feel that Anaheim they have a lot of potential, but it could be Chicago evening up the series. We just have to wait and see.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's definitely a huge game indeed for Chicago Blackhawks, especially if they want to look at in the they want to play in the Stanley Cup. Um, there's a lot of pressure in Chicago. I definitely think the fan base down up in Chicago is going to be very hectic. You'll see some standing ovations. I definitely think the stars are going to come out tonight for the Blackhawks. You got Jonathan Toews, Patrick Kane, Duncan Keith. Oh yeah, I think you got some a great game on tonight for sure.
Yes.
Quoting Jonathan Toews, the Chicago captain Jonathan Toews said, "Of course, we don't want to go down 3-1, but tonight we can think of it as our game 7, and we'll go out there and play our best game of the series, find a way to win, and put ourselves in a spot that we want to be in." You could see Jonathan Toews, the captain of the Chicago Blackhawks, referred to this game 4 as a game 7. I think that shows how nervous these Blackhawks are, that this game means that much. And I definitely agree, because going down 3-1 would definitely be something tragic for these Blackhawks if they want to see the Cup.
Yes, and I definitely do think it does set the atmosphere because this is a must-win game for Chicago. I mean, this game, if they do go down 3-1, Anaheim is a great defensive team. They are heavy hitting.
Oh, totally.
And all Anaheim really needs to do is keep their sticks down.
Yeah.
Make sure no penalties are committed, because if you don't put Chicago on a very dangerous power play that they're known to have, then that will be a great resource for the Anaheim Ducks to make sure that they win this best of 7 game series.
And Chicago can score a goal too, so Anaheim's definitely going to have to keep up. But what about goaltending? Corey Crawford, he could have a great game if he plays his best. Yeah, they give Chicago goaltending full potential with Corey Crawford.
I'll take it from here, mate. Well, Anaheim's goaltender, Frederik Andersen, and this is his second year playing as an NHLer. And even though Frederik Andersen is playing at a high level,
for sure,
he is very professional in the way he conducts himself and his team. I really do think that he wants to see his team succeed, and with him on the roster, I really do. It is a great improvement from the past goalies that they've been known to have.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think Frederik Andersen puts a great potential for the Anaheim Ducks. But just all in all, comparing goaltending, I would have to go with Corey Crawford. I think he has the greater edge. Of course, Chicago, I would say, would be slightly more of a better team, so that has Crawford's back. But Andersen, actually the first Danish-born goaltender in the NHL history, he's definitely someone who will give you your run for your money. I definitely think it will be a very close match this series, and it shall be a very, very close game tonight.
Yes, and as Nathan said, I really do have to hand it to Chicago Blackhawks and Corey Crawford. I feel that ultimately it just comes to the veteran style of play. It really does come to the veteran style of play, and Corey Crawford has so much more experience than Frederik Andersen at this type of level. And I definitely do think Corey Crawford will beat out Frederick Anderson in this battle.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Let's talk about the drafts. We have quite an interesting schedule next year for drafting players. Let's take a look at the Edmonton Oilers. They are number 1 for the draft pick, as they were scheduled to be around number 4 or number 3 for the drafting before the lottery has taken place. Edmonton has Willie Quire, Connor McDavid. He's a center from the Erie, from the OHL. He's 6'1" and weighs 190.
And I really do think that Connor McDavid, he will bring a new dimension of play to the Edmonton Oilers. And of course, we are now looking at a mock draft, meaning this is just what professionals have come up with. And so professionals have come up with this mock draft kind of to see which teams will pick which players. And I don't think that Edmonton really needs to rebuild, but they definitely need to redimension their team. Make some trades here. You definitely got to trade off veterans, as I feel that Edmonton can be a very good young style of team. Really, all they need is a really good scorer, which I feel they can have with Connor McDavid.
Oh yeah,
and they need to make a trade for some sort of goalie. Of course, looking at kind of different trades. What about Zachary Fucale from the Montreal Canadiens? He currently plays for the Halifax Mooseheads, but I do think that would be a trade worthwhile.
I definitely think that would benefit Edmonton. I mean, going back to what you said, Ben, Edmonton is having a new coach for the next season, 2015-2016. With Connor McDavid jumping for the Oilers. I think it's going to be it's a young team. I think it's going to definitely be a brighter future for these Edmonton Oilers. Oh yeah. What do you think about the new Edmonton coach?
I think Todd McClellan is a great addition to their team, as I feel that Edmonton, they just need an upgrade from their previous players. They need to make a few trades, and I feel that Todd McClellan will be the one to really shape this team into a team that can be a playoff contender and will be stable within the playoffs over the next few years.
Oh yeah, for sure. The second draft pick for the 2015-2016 season will be the Buffalo Sabres. They're acquiring Jack Eichel. He's a center. He's 6'2" and weighs 195 pounds. Pretty impressive.
I'd say it's impressive. And one of the things is that Buffalo, I really do think that offensively they have their departments covered.
They have the potential, sure.
And I feel that Jack Eichel will be a great pick. And I feel that with if he is a defensive offensive man, it can really benefit their team. It can really do wonders for the Sabres, who have really
truly
not been on the path to success as we've seen over the past few years.
Yeah. You've seen their decline as a team. Currently this year they ended with I believe was it maybe 54 points for the 2014-2015 season. Definitely one of the lower points. They finished last for the 2014-2015 season. But just a couple of trades with the new center, they should totally maybe improve a bit for the 2016 season for sure. The next trade we cover is the next draft pick, number 3, the Arizona Coyotes, Noah Hanifin. He's a defenseman. He's 6'2.5", 201 pounds. 201 pounds. Yeah, I mean, Arizona has definitely declined from the past few years, especially from last year. The decline has definitely been noticeable. What do you think about this new defenseman?
I think that this new defenseman really does. He really does add another dimension to this team. As we've seen, the Coyotes really do have an offensive roster. I mean, they have Shane Doan. They have Mark Ribeiro. They have other players that are willing to put up goals, and they really just need a good defenseman. Mike Smith is a very good goaltender, I feel, and this is a peak of his career. He's playing currently for Canada at the ILHF World Championships. And I really do think that this is really, the next season is a season for many teams to step up. It's a time for teams such as, it's time for teams such as Arizona to step up. Edmonton, of course. One team that we haven't talked about in particular as of right now, but I'm really expecting big things for, is Florida. Florida?
Yes, definitely.
Florida is, this season, they placed very close in the playoffs. They could have had it, however, they could not get the playoffs. And I feel like they are going in the correct direction for success.
Oh, totally. They're a young team. Jaromir Jagr signing another 1-year contract. I just got to hand it to him for he's going to be 44 for the next season. Very impressive work from Jagr. If he doesn't score a goal, he definitely gets an assist or two per game. He really improves the team. Jagr, Huberdeau, Puri. Puri has been an excellent addition, an excellent benefit to the Florida Panthers. He scored so many goals. Goal average of over 1 per game, I believe, for the last 20 games of the season. Very impressive. I definitely think they're going to be in the right direction. Their draft pick for the Florida Panthers, number 11, is
Dennis
Gurinov. He's a right wing, at 6'2", weighs 183.
I feel like another team that is projected to do big things in this upcoming season is indeed Minnesota. Minnesota, they haven't exactly been giving the push. They have been getting to the second round of the playoffs for the last 2 years. However, I feel that they can do good things.
Oh, totally. Especially with Dubnyk on their side. A great goaltender.
Yes.
Especially for their Western Conference. Definitely something impressive and something to watch for the next season from Minnesota. You got Niederreiter on the play. All these players, I think they're going to get Minnesota definitely in the playoffs next year. Maybe even in a higher seed than this year.
Yes, I feel that Minnesota definitely has a nice roster. You have Zach Parise. You have Palmville, Fontaine, Devin Dubnyk. Obviously, might be their just star player that they may be able to lean on in this next season. I feel that Minnesota, they are going in the right direction, and they have been facing tough playoff teams. And the Chicago Blackhawks may just be their kryptonite, as we've seen so far.
Oh, yeah. Another team, let's talk about the teams that didn't make the playoffs this year, but have definitely been definitely playoff contenders from the past years. 2 teams in particular, the San Jose Sharks and the Boston Bruins. The San Jose Sharks have made the playoffs 10 years in a row before they missed it this year. And the Boston Bruins 7 years in a row before they missed it this year. Boston was so close. They really just missed it by a couple of points. The Pittsburgh Penguins were at 98 points, Boston 96 points. Really, an extra game, I believe, would have put them up there for the 8th seed. What do you have to say about the downfall and the small decline from the San Jose Sharks and the Boston Bruins, Benjamin?
As of right now, I can definitely say that the Boston Bruins, I feel that it's just been a lack of encouragement. I definitely do think that the Boston Bruins can win Stanley Cups. However, if they don't have the potential, if they don't have the encouragement to do so, then they can't exactly do many things here in the playoffs. Really, it's just confidence. And for the San Jose Sharks, I definitely do think that they can get there, but I think they just need to make moves offensively. They definitely do have players. You got Patrick Marleau, Brent Burns. All the players on their team are very nice, except you definitely need to make more plays. And as just like the Boston Bruins, even though it is not as much as a difference, really just a lack of encouragement over the team.
Yeah, the Boston Bruins really do not miss it by that much. What about those Los Angeles Kings, though? They were the 5th team to win the Stanley Cup, and then the next year miss the playoffs. A recent team that has done the same with the Carolina Hurricanes winning the Cup in 2006 and missing it in 2007. I think they deserve a little bit more respect only because working for 2 cups for 3 years, that's a very good streak. They worked very hard, tons of games in the postseason, many series going to up to 7 games. They worked really hard. They definitely have exerted themselves. So you could see the LA Kings definitely ran out of gas, you can say, if you will. They are just their team who were just very tired this season from all the postseason work that they had done. Um, yeah, what do you think about the LA Kings for the next year?
I do think that the LA Kings have a lot of potential. Just look at the roster. They have so many good players. Jonathan Quick, an amazing goaltender.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Drew Doughty, an amazing defenseman, perhaps one of the best in the league. And you have they just have so much depth within their offensive lineup. And I do think that they were just so close, and they did have the correct attitude going in to the end of the midseason. And I definitely do think that next year it's a new season. I do think that they can make the playoffs.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's definitely they'll start fresh. They will have months to rest. It'll be, yeah, as you said, their goaltender Jonathan Quick. Definitely some a goaltender that interesting to watch. Definitely very beneficial to the LA Kings. Focusing on the game on tonight. Just wrapping it up with the Anaheim Ducks going to the Chicago, playing in Chicago. As I said before, very, very rigorous game. But focusing on the other series going on in the playoffs right now, in the East, the New York Rangers and the Tampa Bay Lightning tied 2-2 after Game 4. Game 5 is going to be on Sunday, May 24th at 8 o'clock in Madison Square Garden in New York City. Wow, this series truly can go either way. It's a matter of really winning at home, putting in, New York has the home ice. They have Lundqvist. Though Tampa Bay has Bishop, which is definitely a goaltender definitely a great goaltender. They have Stamkos. Tampa Bay Lightning has Stamkos. Boyle. New York has, you got Rick Nash. You have Zuccarello. You have Stefan. I mean, it's a series that really is anyone's game. Having home ice, yes, that could put you at a distinct advantage, but it's not going to. It definitely could go in 7 games. What do you think about that series?
I do think that the series is a very offensive type of series. One of the main things that I'd like to point out is that the goalies, even though they are amazing goaltenders, they have not been very consistent. Game 2, Lightnings have won 6-2. That is definitely a blowout. And as we've seen in Game 4, which just happened Friday, it was a 5-1 loss for the Tampa Bay Lightnings that New York got. And I do feel really if even one of these goalies has consistency, it will be enough to guide the team to victory because we have not seen much consistency with the goalies. Game 3, it was a 6-5 victory for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Granted, it was OT. That type of numbers on the goal chart should not be allowed in any game, especially in the postseason.
Oh yeah, I was definitely surprised to see that these games are going definitely they're high scoring. There are some high scoring games with 2 good goaltenders. Maybe this series is a little off for both goaltenders. Of course, they had 2 other huge series before this one. So, yeah, that could definitely make a difference. Lundqvist has played every single game for these playoff series, and I believe Bishop has too. So that is a lot of playing to do. Yeah. these goalies aren't usually as inconsistent, but I definitely think Lundqvist is an excellent goalie. So is Bishop. These two goalies are definitely something. They should be, these goalies definitely a benefit to these teams.
Um, Going into another type of sport or entertainment, wrestling. What is going on within wrestling right now? Well, we have the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, 8 days away, and we can expect many different matches. The match for the Intercontinental title features many different superstars, and just looking at the bad blood, you can tell Dolph Ziggler and Rusev going into this matchup will not be liking each other. Dolph Ziggler just stole, well, I guess you can say stole, Lana from Rusev. And really, it was of Lana's free will. However, Rusev may be the ex-boyfriend in this relationship. And another matchup that I'd like to go delve deeper into is the tag team matchup. You have so many great tag teams competing for this title. And I do feel that even though the New Day has the 3-man advantage over all the other teams having a 2-man advantage, I do think it is my prediction that the Lucha Dragons have a lot of momentum going into this series. And I do think that this type of high-flying offense will allow them to pick up the tag team titles in this style. I mean, you just look at the Elimination Chamber. That is over a mile of steel in this chamber. It is very deadly, and it is a high flyers, great environment. Going back into hockey, we can look at other different things, such as where do you think different teams will improve over the postseason?
I think we definitely have
Going back into hockey, I think that different teams will improve as I mean, just look at the Montreal Canadiens. They made the playoffs. However, they were eliminated 3-2 in the playoffs. I do think that this is a good time for them to reconstruct, get a new game plan, and head for that playoffs once again.
Oh yeah. They definitely need that center. They often at times over rely on Carey Price. Of course, he is a spectacular goaltender, but you can't just rely on your goaltender. You have to score. I think that's one of the problems that the New York Rangers had in the first two series of the postseason this year. They over relied on Lundqvist. Now Lundqvist is great, so it wasn't horrendous, but no, yeah, you have to have a team that scores. And Montreal is a very low-scoring team. They definitely need a center. They need to score. You can't just rely on a little a few goals from Gallagher and Pacioretty. No, you need that center. Yeah, I think they will get a new game plan. Maybe watch their penalties a bit. Maybe improve on their power plays. They're not exactly the best on power plays at times, but yeah, I think they will improve next year as they had this year from last year. So I think we definitely have a team ready for next year from the Montreal Canadiens. What about the Florida Panthers too?
I do think that the Florida Panthers have a good mindset going into the season. I do think that with newly acquired potential forwards, they can indeed move up that way, go to the playoffs, and be a contender. I mean, this is a very young team.
Oh yeah,
you can see. Last year they got the #1 pick, Aaron Ekblad.
Aaron Ekblad, yeah, definitely a great player. A huge benefit to our team, to the Florida Panther team.
And Aaron Ekblad really does bring a lot of potential to this team. As my co-partner Nathan said before, Brandon Pierre, you got other various forwards that can provide scoring. And I think that Roberto Luongo will help that team achieve a position in which it is very comfortable.
Yes, Roberto Luongo, he's MVP of the Florida Panthers, of course, and you can see why. He is a huge benefit to the team. Although he's going to be 37 for the new season, so he's not getting any younger. Eventually they will need a new goaltender. But for now, Roberto Luongo is definitely serving for the Florida Panthers, for sure. He's done a great job for Vancouver in the past. 2011, they made the Stanley Cup, lost to Boston in Game 7. But till the end, Roberto Luongo definitely put on a show. Let's see what Edmonton Oilers should definitely improve, as we said earlier, from their new draft pick and new staff. Another team that will improve would definitely have to be
The Nashville Predators.
the Nashville Predators. Indeed, they have Rene, the goaltender. Definitely a great player. He could stop
They got outed in the first round of this year's playoffs, and
to Chicago. Yeah.
And I do think that they can achieve better. I mean, you have Pecorine, and one of their main players that really hasn't been playing up to full potential is Shea Weber. He is one of the best defensemen in the league.
Yeah.
He's an amazing scorer. I do feel he can generate better than he has been generating in the past season.
Yeah, I think Weber plays to his full potential. He will definitely offer something great to the Nashville Predators for their defense. They definitely can score. How well is their defense? Well, we'll see when Weber plays to his full potential. Another team, I believe, the the Columbus, the Columbus Blue Jackets should certainly improve. As I think their goaltending, Bobrovsky, is some goaltender. They will definitely make the playoffs next year. Bobrovsky had so many injuries; he was always out. So serving for the Blue Jackets hasn't been a day-to-day thing for Bobrovsky. Now next year, Bobrovsky, the Columbus Blue Jackets had also other injuries as well. I definitely think the Columbus Blue Jackets will make the playoffs. They are a team that will improve. That goaltending will impress many people. It shall be a huge benefit to the Columbus Blue Jackets. What do you think of Bobrovsky's goaltending?
I think that Sergei Bobrovsky really does add a very high element to this team. I really do think his level of athletic ability and his level of full potential can bring this team a very successful season. I really do think that Bobrovsky has what it takes. And I really do think that the Columbus Blue Jackets has what it takes to hopefully make it farther than they have this season.
Oh, certainly. They definitely deserve a higher spot.
Yes, most certainly.
Certainly.
Just to add a few more teams to the list as we're discussing. One of the teams that can definitely improve is most certainly, and I quote, Winnipeg.
Oh, the Winnipeg Jets. Yeah, their goaltending, maybe not the best in the league, for sure. Maybe a little improving can come from Pavelek. Maybe they could score. Yeah, I will give it to them, but defense might not be as well as they would like. What do you think about the Winnipeg Jets?
I do think that the Winnipeg Jets, when they got to the postseason, they ran into a machine that was Anaheim. Anaheim mowed them down like Thanksgiving leaves. Honestly, I do think that Winnipeg has the potential to really do great things in this industry, and I do feel that Winnipeg has what it takes to make it.
Oh yeah, for sure. Winnipeg, they have the crowd behind them. I would say the best fan base in the NHL. I think they will make the playoffs again, certainly next year. Definitely a team to watch out for in the West, and definitely a challenge to come across for the Western teams in the Central Division. We also have, I think the Washington Capitals will continue to do great things next year. They have Ovechkin, a player who's playing great, spectacular. He'll score a goal. He'll definitely contribute to the team. Win or loss, he contributes. Nicholas Backstrom, same. You got all these players. Braden Holtby, definitely one of the best goalies in the NHL, I would say. Colby even has room for improvement. And next year, I think Washington Capitals are going to continue to do some great things. Definitely watch out for Ovechkin. Great player. It should be very interesting to see the Washington Capitals next year. What do you think of Ovechkin and the Washington Capitals?
I do think that this team is on the right path. I do think that Ovechkin is a very good scorer. As we've seen, he has tallied up the most goals this season. And I do feel. Just kidding. Apparently, he hasn't.
I believe Ovechkin might be number 5 in the NHL. But aside from that, Washington Capitals have been, I believe, the third most scoring team in the NHL. One point that I do want to explain about the Chicago Blackhawks for the Cup this year. As I've seen, the last 7 Stanley Cup winners, 5 out of those 7 have been the top number 1 possession percentage in the NHL that have gone into the playoffs. Boston, LA, Chicago, all those teams, they have been the top possession percentage going into the playoffs. Now, the LA Kings for the 2014-2015 season had been the number 1 possession percentage. However, they did not make the playoffs. So the number 2 would be the Chicago Blackhawks, who did make the playoffs and are still in it. So if patterns continue, technically, would Chicago win the Cup this year? What do you think, Ben?
I do think that Chicago has a good chance, and I do think that Chicago has what it takes to win. And Chicago definitely has puck possession to their side, and I feel that with that stat, they can improve, or not to improve, but they can get past other teams, and they can
For sure, yeah.
achieve greatness in this offseason.
Yeah, they're great in the season, but they are spectacular in the postseason. They have been something else. I think they will win the Stanley Cup this year against, I think it could go either way in the East, but aside from that, Chicago is a great team. Patterns might just continue for 2015 Stanley Cup winner. Also, on this broadcast, we'd like to discuss the
Dallas Stars.
The Dallas Stars. Yes, you got something from Klingberg, a defenseman. You got Enroth, a great goaltender, a new goaltender for Dallas Stars. Yeah. Enroth playing for Dallas. He's a great contributor.
Yes, and I do think that
backup or not, yeah.
Yes, I do think that Enroth really does add a dimension to this team. And I do think that Dallas has many scoring potential players, and I do think that they can indeed do great things. I mean, you look at their roster. Either way you look at it, they have great players. Jamie Benn, Jordy Benn, Tyler Seguin. You have Alesh Hemsky, Valeri Nichushkin. All of these players are great players that can score great. They can play defensively at times, and they can just play a rough style of hockey that Dallas is known for.
Oh, certainly. I think Dallas will, if they don't make the playoffs, they will come very close for the next year. You have definitely a good team in the making. You also have the New York Islanders, definitely a great team too. Yes, they did go out in the first series against the Washington Capitals, but aside from that, they have a good team as well. They could score a couple goals. I'm not going to say they're the best scoring team, but they know how to score. They could definitely defend. I think they play more on defense, which is important too for the Islanders. I think their goaltending is pretty good. with Halleck. I think definitely a contributor. You have John Tavares, great player. He could score a goal. He could really contribute to the team. You definitely got some great players. What do you think about the New York Islanders, Ben?
I do think that let me retake that one. I do think that the New York Islanders have a lot of potential. Do I feel that they can make the postseason next year? I don't think that they're ready for that type of thing. I do feel that many teams are stepping up to the plate next season, and I don't think that the New York Islanders will be able to keep up with that.
Yeah, I think the Islanders, great team, but yeah, definitely some teams that you definitely take them on. Sure. Um, Talking about goaltending, I think the best right now for the 4 teams left, you got Chicago, Anaheim, Tampa, and New York. I think would have to be New York Rangers, Henrik Lundqvist, great goaltender, very impressive to watch. Very creative even with his saves. How doesn't matter how fast that puck is going, he could really make a great save anytime if he's got a penalty from his team, anything, he could really take it on. Yes, he has been a little bit inconsistent with the Tampa series, but aside from that, great contributor. Uh, if the New York Rangers did not have Lundqvist, they would not be in the playoffs right now. It would be the Washington Capitals. So Lundqvist really is the main contributor to the team. He really has that effect on the team, and he gives Washington Capitals, Pittsburgh, their run for their money. Now Tampa, he needs to maybe slow down a bit. I think he's definitely going to be working on that for tomorrow's game back in New York. He'll work on maybe some lower scoring from Tampa, try to win that game because New York still needs to win. Still needs to score some more goals, even though they scored quite a few from this series. So maybe it's just Lundqvist who needs to set his priorities straight.
Yes, and I think to wrap up this broadcast, I do think basically the main points here are that we are expecting a lot of teams to step up to the plate. And in the offseason, and in this offseason, we are expecting many good things from the series. We are expecting a high-stakes series between both the Tampa Bay Lightning, the New York Rangers, and the Chicago Blackhawks and the Anaheim Ducks. This has been Ben.
And Nathan on the Nathan and Ben YouTube channel. Thank you for watching. I appreciate every view. It's been it's been a very fun and great broadcast with you tonight. We have a very great game right now in our hands, Chicago and Anaheim. We'll see you then on our next game. Thank you for listening. Good night.